Welcome to Mpowered Living. I'm your host, Sheu. Each week on this show, we have conversations that help us create greater alignment between who we are, what we value, and how we live. Through honest stories, fresh perspectives, and practical insights, we'll explore the choices that shape a meaningful life at work, at home, and in the relationships that matter most. Because success should support the life you want, not pull you away from it. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started. My guest today is Shalin Desai. Shalin is a breathwork and meditation teacher with The Art of Living, where he helps people use breath and meditation to reduce stress, build resilience, and become more present in their lives. Shalin challenges the idea that stress, reactivity, and constant urgency are just a part of being successful. He talks about what we can work on that will have the greatest impact on the people around us, and he shares the most important practices to implement so that we can improve our clarity, strengthen our emotional resilience, and become more calm. This is a practical and grounding conversation about presence, leadership, and learning how to create a life that's not just about the pursuit of happiness, but an expression of it. Let's dive in. Shalin, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
Okay, let's dive in. I know that you have spent a lot of time working with high performers and leaders. I'm curious, what is it that you see? Like, why is it possible for somebody to be so incredibly successful and capable and still feel stressed and reactive and distracted and disconnected from themselves?
I've seen two kind of leaders. One set of leaders are the ones first of all, what sets apart the leaders is one of the important qualities I've seen is resilience. They're very resilient. But somehow, this thing has crept into a work culture where, being stressed, being angry, being like snapping at folks is seen as a sign of success. It's seen that, if you're a good leader, you do those things, it's become normal, which is a bit unfortunate because it doesn't have to be. In fact, some of the best leaders that I have worked with and I've seen is that are the ones who are resilient at the same time. They're very calm and composed when it comes to dealing with people. And they're able to get more things done. And of course, time to time, you have to show anger. But there's a difference between getting angry and showing anger.
What do you think it is that separates those people who are able to stay grounded in the middle of crazy chaos, and the difference between those people and the people who really get consumed by it and let that control them?
As I mentioned earlier, I think one of the things that sets them apart is that cool, composed state of mind. And lately, I've seen a lot of leaders have been practicing meditation and breathing exercises and stuff. And that's exactly what I also specialize in. I travel around, I teach. I've taught programs in 64 cities around the country. So I travel quite a bit and teaches workshops. And I found that this was a few years ago, and I was teaching a program. In fact, it was in Dallas, and it was for one of the world's largest consulting firms that were doing this program. And every single person who was there was either Harvard, Stanford, MIT graduate, super smart guys, super successful and everything. And on the last day, when at the end of the workshop that we were teaching there, they were sharing that we got the best training that we've ever gotten at work today, because it really helps us. It gives us those tools to deal with what our mind goes through, because, they have to make so many decisions, the leaders, and the decisions they make have a lot of repercussions. It affects a lot of people. So many of them, I feel like I've also found that they feel that pressure that I have to perform, I have to show the performance. And it's not just that, okay, someone is going to reward me for that. It's also because they feel responsible for the people who work for them. They feel responsible for the company they lead. Before you start leading people, it's very important that you learn the skills, the tools to lead yourself.
So if somebody is new to meditation and breathwork, what would be the first thing that you would want them to learn? What's almost the thing that they need to be thinking about or open to if they are starting that journey?
I would say the first and foremost is dropping all the prejudices, that meditation should be like this, meditation should be like that. I joke with people that sometimes trying to meditate can also become very stressful. Because you sit for meditation and you're like, oh my God, nothing is happening. More thoughts are coming. My to-do list is coming up. All those things keep going on. And it ends up at times being more stressful about like how the meditation practice should and should not be. So first, dropping all the judgments and all that. I've also found people who who have tried meditation with an open mind. For most people, it works, but for some people, they also feel like I'm sitting and my mind is just keeps getting thoughts after thoughts. And that's why I'm part of the Art of Living organization. It is actually one of the world's largest volunteer-based organizations with presence in 180 countries. And the founder is Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar. He's a world-renowned humanitarian and a peacemaker. So I got associated with that, and that's also the programs we teach. And one thing that sets the programs apart with what I've been doing is the breath work. Because many times I hear that more often than I would like to hear that, they've tried some app or they went to YouTube and they tried meditation. They're like, I sat for a few minutes, it was okay. And then again, my mind was bombarding with thoughts. So what the breathing exercise does is in the Art of Living program, we teach this very powerful breathing exercise called the sky breathing. And about 20 to 25 minutes practice of that every day leaves you kind of fresh and energetic for the entire day. And it's much easy, much practical, much doable for folks. Dropping all the judgments and at the same time giving it a shot. It's nowadays I see that this meditation and breath work is no longer a luxury or you do it as a hobby. It's become a necessity.
Yeah. What's so special about sky breathing? Can you explain it to us?
Yeah, sure. So, there's a connection between breath and emotions. For every breath, there's a corresponding, for every emotion, there's a corresponding breathing pattern. Like if you observe when you're happy, the breath is much lighter. When let's say there's something frustrating that happens and it's like there's a long sigh. Right? And have you observed when you're angry, how's the breath? It's, yeah, exactly. It's more fast and more heated. It's like, there's a connection between breath and emotions. And for every emotion, there's a corresponding breathing pattern. The beautiful thing is that the reverse is also true. With the help of the breath, you're able to much better manage your emotions. We have more than 100 independent scientific studies that have been done around the globe on the sky breathing, and they found that across all the markers, it was very effective for reducing anxiety, reducing stress, reducing cortisol, bringing down symptoms of depression. It increases the well-being hormone in people. We even have studies there where people who have been practicing sky breathing every day, the youthfulness in them increases. They're more, they look more younger after practicing it. And that's something at the end of the day we all want to do, right? We want to feel more happy and more fresh.
Yeah. What can somebody do in a high pressure moment, like a difficult conversation or maybe a really stressful meeting, or maybe they're in an argument, to really interrupt that automatic reaction that they're having?
I tell people about this 1 minute or 2 minute rule. And nowadays, more than being on face-to-face or on Teams calls, it more happens over emails. You get an email which is very disturbing or angry, and you immediately want to snap back at them. And I was talking to one of my participants whom I taught the program they're at a very high position, and they're like, I told them about this 1 or 2 minute rule that, once you get a nasty email, wait for 2 minutes, take some deep breaths in, and then you reply to the email. And this guy was saying, he got the email and he was so pissed, and he started typing the email, and he was going to return the favor. The email was nasty and he was going to return the favor. And he's like, yeah, remember this 2 minute rule. So he's like, and I just sat there, took some deep breaths for 2 minutes. And then when I replied the email, the tone of the email was much different. And it's like, Shalin, had I acted on the first email that I was going to send, I would have lost my job. So it kind of saved my job.
That's great. Okay, so for me, I struggle with meditation and maintaining the practice, right? Like I'll do it consistently for a little bit and then it'll fall off. What is your recommendation for making it a habit and really making it part of your routine?
So it's a combination of two things. One is discipline from the person who's doing it. And
Mm,
second is also what you're doing should be very joyful, it's very engaging.
mm,
So I'll give examples of both the things. The discipline part, I always tell people that like how you take shower every day, that is bodily hygiene. You brush your teeth every day, that is dental hygiene. And your breath work, your sky breathing is the mental hygiene.
mm,
So it's that discipline is required. My kids now, my daughter is in high school now, but when they're small kids, we had to have that discipline for them to brush their teeth. And it's
yeah.
not like they would look forward to waking up and brushing their teeth, but you kind of work with them and that discipline has to be instilled. And now
Mm,
they just do it. You don't have to tell them that, twice a day brushing the teeth has become a norm. So what I found is that the initial part, you continue with your practice for some time and then
mm,
it becomes part of your routine. And the second part is that the meditation part, what I mentioned earlier, many times, so many times, more often than I would like to hear, people sit and they're like, oh, I'm just getting so many thoughts. I'm getting bored. And it's like, I have so much work to do. I have no time to meditate. And it's like all those things happen and then they stop doing it. And that's why the sky breathing is very, very effective. I keep hearing this again and again that people love doing it. It's not like you have to make yourself do it. You enjoy doing it every day and you see the benefits from day one. Like the first time you do it, you start seeing the benefits coming out from there. So, and anything, especially people who are, Mahatma Gandhi would always say that, he'd say that, today I'm so busy. I don't have time to meditate for 15 minutes. I have so much
mm,
work to do. I have to meditate for 1 hour. The
mm.
more, yeah, the more work you have, the more things you have on your to-do list, the more responsibilities you have, more is the need for you to do these things.
Mm, yeah.
That's a very important kind of differentiating factor. This is not for people who are just free, don't have anything to do. This is for people who are busy.
What do you say though? Like, what is the minimum amount of time, consistency for it to really become an effective practice?
We usually tell people after they do the program that you continue it for 40 days and then it just
Mm,
becomes a habit. The
mm,
40-day rule. As I was mentioning earlier, that what I've when people do the sky breathing the very first time, the effect is so powerful, so profound, and you see the benefits from day one. It's not like you go to the gym for 3 months and then you start seeing some muscles coming out, kind of a thing. You see the benefits from day one. It's much more
mm.
easy and much more you enjoy continuing with it. And we tell people you continue it for 40 days and most majority of the people continue for 40 days and then it becomes a habit.
Yeah. But what about if they're getting started and they aren't doing the program with you? If they're trying to do it on their own, do they need to at least do 10 minutes a day every day? Or is it they need to do at least 30 minutes a few times a week? What's that minimum to
Yeah,
really
10 to
get into
15
it?
minutes 10 to 15 minutes per day is okay, and that's fine. They can start with that. Folks can even go to YouTube and we have bunch of guided meditations there.
Mm,
You can type art of living meditation or Gurudev meditations. You can type there and then you'll see bunch of meditations, millions of views there, and they
yeah.
can even try something like that 10 to 15 minutes every day. They can get started with that.
Do you think there's a benefit to guided versus unguided?
It depends. To begin with, it's okay to have to do something guided. That's why when we teach the program, it's not just an app or a YouTube video. You learn it from a live instructor, and the instructor works with you throughout the entire program, and then they stay in touch with you after the program also. So it's kind of to make sure that you continue any questions you have, that they're able to answer those questions, because this is something like, you know you learn how to play tennis, you have a coach, you have a math coach, you have marketing guru, you have management gurus. Nowadays, I mean, you need a guru, you need a coach for all that, especially when it comes to self-help and self-development. It's very
Mm,
important to have a coach, and that's why I found this approach very effective. But obviously, if you don't have time, and you can start with something off YouTube and do some guided meditations, and eventually you want to graduate and do learn from a live instructor.
Okay, so If they're doing it on their own, do you have, other than Art of Living YouTube, is there another recommendation for resources and tools that you would suggest that people use?
Sure, they can also, we have an app called Sattva. It's Sattva, Sattva. And there are thousands of meditations there. It's one of the top rated meditation apps on App Store. They can download the app and they can do meditations on that also. And usually, I highly recommend, even when I'm traveling, I fly a lot, I travel a lot. So I've downloaded this app, and then on this, you can download the meditations. When I'm sitting in the flight, you have some time by yourself. I just put my AirPods on and do my meditation, and the flight journey is much more relaxing that way.
That's great. Okay, so I know that you've talked in the past about intuition. I love thinking about intuition and talking about it. How do you distinguish intuition from, let's say, fear or anxiety or wishful thinking or just some sort of emotional response? How do you know when it's the wisdom that's speaking to you versus something unhealthy?
That's a great question, actually. And that's a lot of people have this question. And that's why your intuitive abilities, I've noticed they start working more for you the more calm and more composed and more present you are. Because if your mind is constantly occupied with fear, anxiety, and all the negative emotions, naturally your true self doesn't shine out, and that intuitive abilities, they get suppressed. And when this negative emotions kind of go away, they fall off, your intuitive abilities just naturally start shining out. It's like, and I'm an engineer by profession, so I can sometimes give those examples. If you look at the smallest structure in matter, like it's an atom, and on the periphery of the atom, what's on the periphery of the atom? Do you remember? Study that. It's the electrons. The electrons in the periphery, and the core is protons and neutrons. The core of the atom. So even the smallest thing in the structure, the negativity is only on the periphery. The core is all positive. And same with every human being, peace, love, joy, bliss is your true nature. It's not like your nature is that I'm an anxious person. It's not like your nature is I'm fearful, I'm angry. That's not who you are. Those things are just on the periphery. And the more you meditate, the more you do this breath work and all, the negative stuff falls off and the positive just shines out.
Do you think that intuition can be developed, or is it just that some people have more, they're born with it and they have more of it?
No, it can be developed. And for me personally, I've seen that, I've been doing this, and for me also those abilities have developed over a period of years. And now I also do something. I do this with leaderships. I do this something called intuitive scanning. I sit with the person. I'm able to tell them about their past, and any questions they have about the future, I'm able to answer them. And some of these people I can tell you, and they're super skeptics. They're like, how does this work? But once I have the session, they're blown away with that. We have kids who have been trained now. Who can they can be blindfolded, and you open any book and any page, they're able to read the book blindfolded. And it's the founder of Art of Living, Gurudev. He says that that's going to revolutionize the whole education system. And I'll be very candid, I'll be very honest. I was also a skeptic with the whole thing about blindfolding and all. And then my kids, they did that. They did the intuition program. And my daughter, now I've seen it firsthand. We blindfolded, and I put the blindfold on, so I know she's not able to see anything. She's not able to pick through. And I open any book from my book closet, I open any page, and she's able to read through it. And it's amazing how it works. And my son was telling me, like, we always joke between my wife and I that, anytime we have to make our son do his schoolwork, the environment in the house becomes very stressful. It's like, we always struggle him. So my wife struggles to make him do any schoolwork and all that. Yeah. And lately he started getting really good grades. And he's like, the other day he was telling me that when I'm taking quizzes at school, before I click on the next question, my intuition tells me what the question is going to be and what the answer is going to be. Wow. And I'm seeing it firsthand now. So my own skepticism has gone away, and it's incredible how the whole things work.
Okay, so what are they teaching in that class?
So kids, they have this 17-day program. They do a lot of breathing exercise and meditation for kids. Now, the thing is with kids, if you make them sit for 20 minutes, half an hour, they're not going to do that. So they have everything catered to that age group where they play a lot of games and then they sit and then they do some meditations. There are specific breathwork, breathing exercises, which are geared to develop their intuitive abilities. And then they start practicing. And then by the end of the course, they start doing incredible kind of like amazing things. And so I'm for myself very passionate about that because I've seen it firsthand how it helps. And for me also, when I do intuitive scanning with folks, powerful experiences come out of it. And nowadays, we all are we know there's something more than what just meets the eye. I was watching this video on YouTube the other day. Last year, the folks who got the Nobel Peace Prize for physics, their whole thing was that this world, the way we see it, doesn't exist. And in the whole world is like a wave function. And they discovered that and they got a Nobel Peace Prize for that. So there's much more to this world than what just meets the eye. And when we tap into that inner abilities of ours, intuitive abilities and all those abilities, we're able to get a lot more done. In fact, I've seen the same thing with leaders, and that some of the very good leaders are people who are in leadership roles that I've worked with. They have excellent intuitive abilities. They have very good intuitive abilities. That is one of the reasons that also sets them apart.
Yeah. Is this course that you're talking about a virtual course or is it in person?
The one for the adults, both the options are there, virtual or in person. They can do either of them. They can go to our website, artofliving.org, and find out courses happening near them. I would highly recommend doing it in person. I personally like that better. For kids, it is combination of, it start over about 2.5 weeks. There's a few days are in person, few days are virtual.
Do you think some of us have lost our ability to listen to our intuition because there's so much noise around us?
Exactly. Yeah, I was seeing this Center for Disease Control, CDC. They released a report, this was a couple of years ago, that more than 1/5 of the American population is having symptoms of either anxiety or depression. And that's a huge number. And that was couple of years ago. I'm sure the number has gone up by now. Because we have been, since you're kids, you've been trained to be on the go, 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 go. And we are in this culture of getting things done, the culture of the hustle culture. You have to keep hustling. And I always tell people, like, you can even hustle better when you have a calm state of mind, when you're peaceful state of mind. And when the mind is calm and peaceful, naturally those abilities come up. And to your point, it's actually a brilliant thing that you brought up. Those abilities are inherent to most of us. But because of everything that the mind gets clouded with, they get those abilities also get clouded.
Okay, so let's shift. I'd love to just kind of dive into this idea of leadership and being a leader and what affects their leadership. So, can you talk about somebody who is in a leadership role, what their internal state is doing, how it's affecting their leadership, and how they're showing up?
I'll share an anecdote. I share actually a real life incident that I was teaching at the bank in New York, and one of the largest banks in our country. And the course was going on for the leadership team at the bank. And one of the VPs at the bank, on the third day of the course, she came and shared something very profound with me. She's like, Shalin, last 6 months were very tough on me, very tough. She went through a very bitter divorce, very bad divorce. And she's like, it really took a toll on me. And then she said, I need a break. And then she's like, I booked a trip to Hawaii. I'm like, I just need to have some space. I need to clear my mind and just calm and enjoy some good space, good time. So she said, I booked a trip to Hawaii, and she was in Kauai. And she's like, sitting on this pristine beach in Kauai. And she's like, it was so beautiful. The sunset was going on, the beach was pristine. It was beautiful breeze and all. And then she's like, Shalin, but I was only able to enjoy that for 10 minutes. After that, my mind was again filled with the exact same thoughts of anger, betrayal, anguish, and all that. And she's like, after taking the Art of Living program, she's like, yesterday after I did my sky breathing, and she's like, I was driving home. She's in a cab. You know how it is in New York, it is quite chaotic. Everyone is honking and all that. And she's like, everything was chaotic around me, but I was just very calm and peaceful, and I was happy. And she's like, that's when I realized that unless and until I don't learn to make my mind happy, no matter where I am, I
Mm.
cannot be happy. And
Yeah.
same thing with leadership. Like, people, one of the big things that I hear from a lot of leaders is that when it gets stressful, it's not like they leave the stress at home, at work.
Mm.
They carry the stress at home.
Mm.
And that affects their family life, that affects everything. So it's so important to attend to this, the mental peace, the mental health part of of a routine.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think most leaders are misunderstanding about resilience?
Yeah, they think resilience is just going, and
Mm.
at the cost of getting burnt out. And you get burned out, and like you may get results once, twice, thrice, but it's not going to keep happening again and again. And that's one
Yeah.
of the biggest pitfalls I've seen working with corporations, like people who are in key role. And some of these people are very intelligent people, very smart people. They know what they're doing, but they keep going, they keep going, they keep going. And then there's only so much coffee you can drink. There's only so much Red Bull you can have. At some point of time, your body says, I cannot take it anymore. Your system says, I cannot take it anymore. And that's when, you end up having the occurrences of people having blood pressure, anxiety is so much higher now compared to before. So your
Yeah.
system can only take so much after the system breaks down.
Let's talk about that. So, I see a lot of people are incredibly disciplined about how they show up in their professional world. But oftentimes, those same people are a lot less intentional about the energy and the mood that they're bringing to their home life. Why is it so hard to apply those same principles that we're practicing at work with the people that are closest to us?
I also wonder about that actually, that, how can somebody be so passionate at work and then be so sometimes irresponsible on the home front, for the lack of
Uh-huh.
better terms. I've seen that again and again. And I think somewhere you always are passionate about something that you feel a lot of belongingness for.
Mm,
Anything that you feel like this thing belongs to me, you're very passionate. And
mm,
I've seen this again and again, that when, and it's not always the case, but sometimes when people are so passionate about their work, they feel so much belongingness, it ends up being at the cost of something else.
mm,
And because that passion and that belongingness is for your work, at home you come home, and it's not like people have guilt about it, that I'm not able to spend time with my family, with my spouse, with my kids. They have guilt about it, but they're still not able to do it because they're home and they're carrying the same thing at home also. I was teaching this program at one of the hospital systems in the Midwest, and there were a bunch of physicians who were in the course. By the way, I wanted to share that the Art of Living course, physicians, when they take the program, it's part of their continuing education
mm.
program. They
That's
get
great.
their continuing education credits when they take the program. And so this is teaching a bunch of physicians. And then there was a couple who was in the course. The guy is a pediatric cardiologist. The wife is a pediatric gastroenterologist. So on the last day, they had a great experience and all that. And they were asked, I shared my contact information with them. And then after a week, I got an email from the wife, and she's like, Shalin, I wanted to share something with you. That, after taking the course, what's the biggest thing that we have changed, like her and her husband, we have seen in our house, is that now when we come home, when we are with the kids, we are fully present with the kids.
Mm,
Before
amazing.
that, we would come home and would still carry all the things that we have dealt with during the daytime, bring
Mm-hmm.
home. And she's like, she wrote in the email, it was a beautiful email. It's like, it's
Yeah.
not like we were not spending time with the kids. We were spending time with the kids, but we were not present.
Mm,
And now we are present. And that's what makes a big difference.
yeah. So, not based on that story and her definition, but what do you believe is the definition of being present? What does that actually look like in everyday life? Because I think a lot of people use the word being present without actually taking the time to define it.
Tell me one thing. Have you not had this experience when you're talking to somebody and they're actually listening to you, but they're not listening to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? It
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, they're with
Yeah.
you, they're nodding your heads, but that they're not fully listening. They're not, and that's what it is. present with whatever the situation is, whether you're with a
Yeah.
person, fully being with them. If you're dealing with something, doing that 100% is being present. And anytime you do anything 100%, there are no regrets afterwards. And I tell you, I mean, talking about kids, they're smart. I mean, they know when the parents are not present. They know that they're with us, but they're not present. They know that. So that, and again, coming back to the breath work, when you do these breathing exercises regularly, the sky breathing, as mentioning earlier, your mind naturally stays more in the present moment.
Mm.
See, your mind, it constantly keeps vacillating between the past and the future. When the mind is too much in the past, then some regrets come up, some guilt may come up, or something very nice has happened and you keep thinking about it. And when the mind is too much in the future, that's when anxiety happens. And this constant vacillation between the past and the future causes so much stress in our nervous system.
Yeah.
And one thing which is with us all the time in the present moment is our breath. And with the help of the breath, you're able to bring your mind to the present moment. Because, and there are so many books you can read about being in the present moment, live life in the present moment. So much theoretical knowledge out there, but how to practically do it is a skill.
Okay, so I would love to talk a little bit about some of your biggest observations, your biggest lessons that you've learned from teaching meditation and breath work.
I'll keep it very simple. My biggest observation, my biggest learnings is that it's easy and it's joyful. It is not an exercise. It's not something that you have to really beat yourself up to do it. It's something very, very joyful. In fact, I found it like it's kind of having a positive addiction. Like, now when I go and I someday when I'm taking a very early morning flight, I'm not able to get to something. I feel like my practice is lacking, is missing today. And it's very joyful and it's very, very enjoyable.
Yeah. Okay. Are you up for some rapid fire questions?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay. What is one thing that you've stopped doing that's made a big difference in your life?
Forgot the name of that thing, but that non-stop scrolling. I forgot what it's called, doom scrolling or something like that.
Yeah, doom scrolling.
Yeah.
What about the most impactful book that you've read?
I've read this book by Gurudev, whom I really follow. It's called The Journey Within. It's Amazon and USA Today bestseller. It's been a life transforming experience for me reading that book.
Okay. What about a habit that's changed your life?
My breath work. I got introduced to it when I was 16. My mom got me into it, and till date, I'm very close to my mom, and that's the best gift that she's given me.
It's beautiful. What's one thing that creates better relationships?
Being more present. Yeah, I can go more into it, but it's a rapid fires, and it's going to say being more present.
Yeah.
It makes a whole lot of difference.
What about a mindset that people need to let go of?
The ability to let go. Believe it or not, that's a fact. The more people are not, the harder they find to let go, the more pain they bring upon themselves.
Let go of letting go.
Exactly.
That's great. Okay. And then last rapid fire, what's a question that people should be asking themselves more often?
What is it that I really want in my life? Have I just come here to eat, sleep, work, and die one day? I've come here for something much bigger.
Yeah. Do you think you would be up for doing a short breath work exercise for us?
Sure. Why not? So I'll do something called the Sanskrit word is Bhastrika, but we call it the bellows breathing. The English name is the bellows breathing. Like if you've seen blacksmith with the bellows, how they pump air into the fire, we do the same thing with our lungs. And this breathing exercise is very good. Like anytime you have any congested nasal passages, or you're feeling tired or low energy, you do a few rounds of this bellows breathing, and it will instantaneously energize you. So what we do for this is that we'll have a loose fist by the shoulders like this. And I'll be doing some intense breathing. So just be prepared for that. Loose fist by the shoulders. And as we breathe in, the hands go up, and I'll maybe change my camera. and the fists open up like this. Yeah?
Okay.
And as you breathe out, the hands come down and the fists close.
Okay.
Got it? Fists
Got it.
close like this. And the trick to doing this is that you're doing it, the hands are going up and down at a moderate pace, and you're breathing in and out forcefully. So it's like this.
Mm. Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
So I'm just going to guide you through it. We'll do a few rounds of this. Yeah?
Okay.
So you'll have loose fists by the shoulders. Just a normal breath in and out. And for the bellows breathing, breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Continue. And relax. Keeping your eyes closed. Resting your palms on your knees. Palms facing the ceiling. Just observing your breath. We'll do one more round. Loose fists by the shoulders. Normal breath in and breathe out. And breathe in, out, in, out, in, out. Continue. And relax. Rest your palms on your knees, palms facing the ceiling, and just relax completely. Now we'll do one final round. Loose fists by the shoulders. Normal breath in and breathe out. And breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Continue. And relax. Rest your palms on your knees, palms facing the ceiling. Just relax completely. Just observe your mind. Whatever thoughts are coming, just let them be. You are in complete acceptance with everything that is going on. Take a breath in and breathe out. Another breath in and breathe out. And slowly and gradually, you may open your eyes. It's good.
Amazing. It was interesting how, okay, well, one, the tingling in my head and my hands, but it was interesting how I went from such high energy to such a state of like almost deep relaxation.
This stuff I'm telling, and it's so powerful. I mean, and I've been doing it for many years, so I know. But lately, we have had about 100 independent scientific studies that shows how it increases all the good markers and reduces all the bad markers.
Mm,
It works.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us.
sure.
Okay, before we wrap up, can you share with the listener how they can get a hold of you, how they can learn from you, how they could continue their journey with you?
Sure. So, regardless of where you live, not just in the US, globally, you can go to our website, artofliving.org. Art of Living, beautiful name, artofliving.org.
Mhm.
And you can look up any programs near you where you can take that. And if personally, if they want to reach out to me, they can ping me on my Instagram handle, Shalin. My first name Shalin, last name Desai. That's my handle. They can ping me on there.
Amazing. And if you were to leave the listener with one last piece of wisdom, one thing that you hope they take away or remember or implement in their life, what's that one thing?
I would say that life it just doesn't have to be pursuit of happiness. Life needs to be an expression of happiness.
Mm,
You're not just pursuing, you only pursue something that you don't have.
yeah,
But when you're happy, any action you take, you're happy with the outcome.
yeah. Amazing. It's beautiful. It's been such a joy to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you, and you're amazing, and it was wonderful having this conversation with you.
Thanks for joining me for this episode of Empowered Living. I hope today's conversation gave you something meaningful to reflect on and something practical to carry into the way that you lead, love, and live. If you enjoyed the episode, subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who might benefit from the conversation. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.